All right, it's E for MarketWizards.com and eMiniWizard.com, and it's about 10:26 of March 2019, reminding traders to use risk capital you can afford to lose. All right, anybody that's trusted my judgment, when I said I think we are going to take out that 28, this is designed to run the shorts out of town and test the 32s. 37s to 35s also not ruled out, but that's our primary target. Try to get to 32. If you played this aggressively and got your VIG, take your chips. Said yesterday that we had to make an adjustment. The predictive model was telling us that we should be putting things lower, and I said I don't agree. I said that was the current frame. I want to go the other way. I said I think we're going to get the bounce. So that's why I set this up and made the adjustment. So in making that adjustment, we still use the 12.5 as our key pivot, right? But it threw that up into this direction so we could see if we bounce, as I thought we would, come back in and retest this range, fast up, fast down, bounce, get above that last high from Friday, knock out the shorts. This is a whack-a-mole type trade where they want to take out these shorts that had that new low yesterday and got overconfident. They throw it up here at night. Everybody thinks too high, and then they jam you again. This is the the PB and J trade, peanut butter and jam, right? It's no pullback, no pullback. We stayed above that high. When the market does that, it tells you it does not want to come back and give you a fair trade, right? So yesterday's high is 18 area holds. Will not let the shorts off the hook, and then they get squeezed and have to pay up. Perfect example of a squeeze type trade. You go back and look at all the posts I made before market saying I think the 12.5 is our squeeze pivot, head of the 9s, and now the 18s, 17 to 18. Great trade if you took it, and if you didn't, I understand your concern about it being too aggressive to try to go long there, because you're human, you're not a bot. But when you start to see these ideas come together, you'll have more confidence in those trades. Rule of thumb, right? If you're above the rain line and the green and the red and the blue, that's a squeeze type trade. This is a 1-minute chart that we put on. Here's your 2. Here's a 3. You can see how this sat here, and this 12 right back here was the key. Still is. Above 12.5 pivot, long side. A profit-taking swing right now. And this is a retest, right? That 28. Got a lot of shorts that got skinned. And they're going to try to wiggle out. So I'm not thinking about a big plunge move right here in one fell swoop. Hey, this is your your 2-day range. Anybody that's trying to short, we'd said using that 32. If you are trying to short, you're trying to grab a couple points against this swing. 22, I'm going to suggest, is probably an aggressive support right now, just based on this 2-day swing. A lot of traders that have been trapped. And anytime we get what we call a rabid dog day, which today evidently is, very hard to get anything more than 2 or 3 points against it, especially early. And I suggested today we could even get to 35s, 37s. Those have not been ruled out. Unless the shorts can get back here and undermine 22s, they're still on the hook. Got to come back, get under 22s, then come back in and get back to the 17 area, undermine all these lates. And then come back and, okay, hey, we're back to par. I don't think that's in the cards just yet. Now, reminder, this chart, we talked about 31 and a quarter target, 31 to 32 basis this monthly chart. So now we're going to make that adjustment and say, fine, you showed me you had the wherewithal to get up here. So that's my next resistance. This is my fighting box. And now this is my support box, step by step. And I don't mean to imply that the longs are all powerful and wonderful. All I'm suggesting is we go by step to see who's got the ball, who's in control. And currently, the longs have had a great trade, but I think we need a little profit taking. So that's why this next zone, starting at 32, is it not an unreasonable place to try? And if it doesn't work, it doesn't work. Better than trying to short at 22. Because I felt it was destined to knock out that 28 test 32s today, just based on the range that we had here. That was part of my thinking was let's take a look. Yeah, do the math. Where is the math on this? All right, do the math from that swing to this low. Tell me what you get. All right, it's just after 10 o'clock. It's Eve for MarketWizards.com and eMiniWizard.com, finding traders to use risk capital you can afford to lose. Today is the 26th of March, 2019, and we're squarely in the middle of IB. We've hit our primary target at 32.75 to 32.5. Doesn't mean we can't go higher. But we've suggested make sure you are paid if you are long side. It's a 1 minute chart. Squeeze trade. We've had the 22 and a quarter. We've had several pivots we liked today. Directionally, if we got above the 22s, we favored that for the long side. Certainly above 18. Got to give the benefit to the longs. Then kind of confirm it by getting above that 22 and staying there. Take out that previous high of 28 and a quarter. And then go tackle that 32. Boys have made this 28 the middle of RTH. And we can see that just by looking at the numbers on RTH, 23s and 33s and dimers. So they've taken that 28 and a quarter and made that the middle. This trade, for anybody that is attempting the short, this push, this is what we would call our second mouse gets the cheese idea. And it may only be crumbs. But the idea is that rather than be aggressive shorting earlier, those traders have gotten stopped out and squeezed. not trusting the targets. And we need to respect the fact that probably will be a lot harder than you think right now to get a big pullback because traders are trapped and being squeezed. And then you get to the point where all of a sudden the big boy says, no, that's enough, and we want to come the other way. And the only way we will know that is if we take out and undermine the RTH low. And I suggest that the second and third mouse will probably do better just nibbling and not thinking plunge right now. Sometimes you'll miss a decent trade because you're too conservative. But I think we've got range set up right now. So anybody that's using that 35 to 37 potential target as resistance, never let this bleed back against you. Take what you can, accumulate, hit and run a couple of times. And if you're buying, don't forget, now we're weak hands buying up in this neighborhood compared to, yesterday when we suggested, okay, this may be the buy. And even overnight, we left off with that idea over here. That 02 is probably a, key area. So we're 30 points higher, and that's certainly not an edge to be trying to buy up here. Trade may work, but it's not an edge. Best way to see that, funnel through time. Now look where we were yesterday. Overdone. They jammed it, pushed us back up here, knocked out the stops. They're going to try to hold that 28 and knock them out if they can. So this is designed to run stops on the shorts, to not allow them to keep position, to keep on cascading down. And this is the way they do it, through overnight levitation and then squeeze. Nothing unique about this pattern. We've seen this before. Rabid dog days are very, very challenging till you get some kind of a news event, a little bit later in the day, lunchtime maybe. So for now, we've got a range trade. And we've got shorts that need to wiggle off the hook that bet the wrong way. Predictive model. And yes, this 42 even shows up today. I'm getting a hard time accepting that. I'm conservative, and I always think that target, the extreme target, can't be achieved. But believe it or not, it can be. So maybe, I don't know, give it 40% odds for today. Next resistance right here at that 37, it's 35, 37 zone. Next target. And the whole key right now, in my opinion, is this 22 holding this big pivot here that we talked about. One other term that Zeke and I like to use for a day like today is stolen range, right? This has all been protected, and unless you played overnight, you have not had access to trade this. I could see this. I could feel this in my bones that this was coming today. When I woke up and I saw where it was, I said, all right, we had that right. Still not easy to trade it, to play it, but you got to wait for the big boys to come in and then they jam it. So this is the direction the big boys wanted, to knock out stops. And then now we may get some backing and filling. Either way, I believe that this is the primary range right now that needs to be battled. And hit and run if you're playing. Anybody that's a weak hand, don't give back 5 points to make 1 or 2 more. Be happy getting a couple, accumulating a couple here, there, and everywhere.